Hey, my friends, it's Austin here from Elevate Applicate, bringing you yet another video on pesticide applicator content. Today, what we're going to talk about is Chapter 4 in the Ornamental plus Plant Pest Management book. And we are going to talk about application calibration and what else? And application calculations. Okay. So this chapter is all about how do we actually decipher what we put into what, how do we apply it, etc. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to jump into it and let's do so. Okay, so the objectives of this particular chapter is to understand what is and why is calibration important. We're also going to learn about measuring treatment areas, why to calibrate and recalibrate. We're going to learn how to calibrate by area or spray volume. And we're also going to learn how to mix spray solution for spot treatments and how to calibrate a spray gun. Okay, so calibration, right? Regulation 637 here in Michigan, rule number 4. It says that pesticide application equipment will be free of leaks, other defects, and malfunctions. Pesticides must be applied in a manner consistent with the pesticide label, and pesticide application equipment will be properly calibrated. So, by law here in Michigan, our equipment must be calibrated. And it makes sense, right? If your equipment is not calibrated, what's going to happen is you're going to have, over applications or under applications of various products, and we don't want that, right? We want accurate applications. Move me out of the way here. Okay. So what is calibration? It's the process of measuring pesticide output. Um, how do we calibrate? We adjust the equipment so applications are of the right amount of pesticide for the specified target area, target tree, etc. The person applying should be the one who does the calibration. Don't rely on other people to do it for you. You have to make sure yourself, again, it's your license. You are responsible for it. So you need to verify that things are calibrated. Walking speed plays a large role in application rate. That's more so for turf. If we're thinking about it, how you have your pressures set, right? If you have a high pressure, high volume, if you lower the pressure, it's going to alter the calibration rate. If you have a cloud coming out of your spray gun or thick droplets, that's going to adjust the spray rate and the calibration. So all of these things come into play. Properly calibrated equipment is going to deliver the correct amount of pesticide uniformly. Pesticide labels list the application rates, and that's how we base our calibration on. So for liquids, they're going to list ounces per gallon or percent of solution or amount per acre. Now, when it comes to actually delivering that for a tree, for most trees, depending on the product, it might say apply till runoff or apply till wet, apply before runoff. If you're doing any sort of soil applications with liquid, you might have to deliver a certain amount of that active ingredient per diameter inch or per foot size of shrub. And that's how you're going to determine your calibration rate with that. And that all comes down to, okay, you have a 3 foot shrub, you need to deliver zero point 0.6 of this material to the shrub. You only want to provide it with a gallon of material. So you need to make sure that there's zero point 0.6 fluid ounces of that active ingredient into that 1 gallon of material. Now that's just a random example, but that's how it could be. Okay. For granules, we generally apply those for an amount per 1,000 square foot or an amount per acre. Again, for ornamentals, we're not really doing a lot of granule applications. It's mainly liquid applications. So why is calibration important? Pesticide applications require the correct amount over the target area uniformly. This is more so true with something that is a contact product. If you have a systemic product or if you have a translaminar product, those can spread throughout the entire tree depending on how it's administered. And so if you're doing any sort of contact application, then you absolutely need a spray over a targeted area to be perfect. If you're doing soil applications, you want to administer the correct amount for the diameter inch of the tree or the foot height of the shrub correctly and uniformly. What happens if you have errors in your calibration? You could waste money. You could injure plants by administering too much product. You could damage the environment, off-target risks, drift, percolation into the soils, groundwater, surface water, etc. And you could fail to control the desired pest. How would we do that? Well, if your calibration's off and you're not applying the correct amount of material, you're not going to control the pest correctly, and potentially on what kind of pest it is, you could create resistances, which we don't want. So there's really two steps for a proper application. You have to measure the treatment area with accuracy, and you have to calibrate and adjust the application equipment to apply the proper rates. It's very simple and straightforward. When I do calibration with our skid sprayer, which is mainly what we use for plant healthcare work on ornamentals, we use a 5 gallon jug. And so we take our JD9, we spray it in the jug, and we time it. We check our pressures, we check our settings, we check where the gun is actually open to, what sort of mist is coming out of it. And this is all with just water. And we check to see how much is coming out in a certain amount of time. Same thing with soil applications. We attach our lance that does our soil applications. We put it into a 5 gallon water jug and we time it to see what is coming out and at what rate and at what speed. Because if you're doing soil injections, you can very easily have a stopwatch, hold the trigger, press the stopwatch. You know how much you're administering. It's hard to do that when you're spraying. So you have to be very conscious when you're spraying in your mind as far as counting seconds or knowing how much is coming out of this. You can also have a better idea as far as they make these measurement devices that can connect to your sprayer's gallons per minute counter. They're very expensive for what they are, but they're going to give you a very accurate measurement as far as what is coming out. So when do we calibrate? We calibrate the first time before we ever use any sort of pesticide within it. You also calibrate when you're changing products, right? If you're going from fertilizer and insecticide to a fungicide, if you're doing granulars and you're switching products and there's different prill sizes, that's when you want to calibrate your sprayers or spreaders. If you have to adjust rates or the speed of application, you want to calibrate then. If you're moving equipment within a vehicle, right, back and forth, calibration could come off. Things could be adjusted, slight little minute movements. If you're moving from site to site, that is a time to calibrate, but at the same time, if you're thinking of driving down a road, your skid sprayer could become a little bit off. Maybe the regulator moves a little bit. Not very likely, but it could happen. But it's always good just to check to make sure that your calibration is on in between sites. And then periodically throughout the season, right, depending on what type of products we're applying, you could have nozzle wear, you could have tear, maybe the pump's not working effectively, maybe there's something wrong with the diaphragm, depending on what type of pump you have. And so we always just want to check to make sure what we're doing is actually applying the correct material. When it comes to a skid sprayer, though, it's mainly going to be what is your gun set at and what are your pressures set at, and that's going to determine how many gallons per minute are coming out of the gun. So if we're calibrating by volume with trees and shrubs and other ornamentals, most ornamental applications are applied until runoff. So if you're doing any sort of foliar application, you want to spray until the plant is dripping. Again, that's all based on the label. Always read the label. The label is the law. If the solution is properly mixed, the amount of spray per unit of time does not matter. However, it is ideal to calculate the amount required to minimize waste and overages. So you want to basically mix exactly what you need for what you're doing. To calculate the volume necessary, first use water and time how long it takes to apply until runoff of a plant. Do the same measurement into a small container for the same amount of time. This helps calculate the amount of water and product necessary for the application. So just like what I told you, we use a 5 gallon water jug and we can see exactly how much product is coming out in a designated amount of time. We do that 2-3 times, 10 times, you get an average, and then you know. And you can play with it, right? Play with the pressures, play with the gun settings, and you can see the difference. Okay, so here's an example. We have a label rate of 3 ounces of gallon. Number of plants to be treated are 18. Seconds per plant would be 12. The amount of water collected in 12 seconds is 10 ounces. 18 plants times 10 ounces per plant equals 180 ounces of water. We convert that into ounces to gallons, 180 divided by 128, and that comes out to 1.4 gallons of water. 3 ounces of product per gallon times 1.4 gallons required, it comes out to 4.2 ounces of product. So this is just a quick mathematical equation to help you figure out, how to properly calibrate a sprayer. For spot treatments and percent solutions, spot applications, generally, it's going to be the amount per gallon, add half of the water required, then the product, then the remaining water, and then you want to agitate it. Many spot application products call for a percent of a solution mixture. So we convert the percent of the product into a decimal. 100% would represent 1, 50% would represent 0.5, and 0.5% would represent 0.005. So that's how we determine the amount of product. So if we calculate the decimal into a gallon of 128 ounces, let's just take 0.5 as an example. 0.5 times 128 equals 64 ounces. 0.02 times 128 equals 2.6 ounces. All right, just quick math here on how to come up with these calculations. Those aren't really representative of any sort of products, but just to get your math understanding of the math that goes into this. So how do we calibrate a spray gun? Similar to handheld equipment, you set the pressure, you spray into a container. I put here for 10 seconds, but you can do it for a minute if you want to know how many gallons per minute you're spraying. You basically do that and you multiply by 6 to get the amount per minute. So you don't have to do it for a minute. You could do it for 10 seconds and then extrapolate the data out to 60 seconds and it'll tell you. But it's always good, right? If you're just doing it with water and you have the time, take 10 minutes and do it 10 times, right? And then you'll have an average and then you can figure that out. If we're going to talk about application to an area, you want to calculate the area to be treated, calculate the amount of pesticide you will need for that size of area. For calculating the area, you can use, you have to measure the area. So you can use tape measure, measuring wheel, satellite imagery. You subtract the structures not to be treated with the total measurement. For irregular shapes, you want to match a regular shape for easier math as best you can. So for calculating area, just a brief number as far as calibration goes, calculating the amount of pesticide needed for an area. Calibrate using 20 by 50. That's 1,000 square feet. So if you have a product that says that you need to put down 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet, you measure out this area and you actually run it to make sure that you're properly calibrated, right? Measure a 20-foot swath by a 50-foot length or vice versa, and you go do your application with your granules, and you're going to see how accurate you are within that 1,000 square feet, and you're going to be able to dial it in a little bit better. Okay, so say we have a label rate where 2 ounces of product needs to be applied to 1,000 square feet. The area is 40 foot by 65 foot. That comes out to 2,600 square feet. If we did our test, right, and that 20 by 50 foot area of 1,000 square feet comes out to 80 seconds to make the application. We collected water within that. Well, I guess this is for a water, not necessarily granule. For water, we collected in 80 seconds, 57 ounces. Your spray output is 57 ounces per 1,000 square feet. You want to multiply 2,600 square feet by 57 ounces, which comes out to 148,200. You divide that by 1,000, and it comes out to a total of 148.2 total ounces. So for 2,600 square feet, multiply by 2, comes out to 5,200. 5,200 divided by 1,000 comes out to 5.2 ounces of herbicide. This seems more like a turf application than an ornamental application, doesn't it? But this was in this chapter, so we're just going over it. Okay. Again, let's talk about rotary spreaders. Calibration variables do exist with these pretty substantially. Those come down to the operator walking speed, the handle height, the travel pattern. If the operator changes, you need to recalibrate it because it's a different operator. He walks differently. He has a different pace, a different stride, everything that comes along with it. It's also going to depend on the product. Is it what size are the granules? What shape are they? What's the uniformity? What's the density? What's the surface friction of the prills or the granules? So every time that you change to a different product, you want to recalibrate. Also, you can have wind speed, temperature, and humidity that affect certain things, right? If wind speed is high, it's going to blow granules. If they're really light, and you're going to get a different application. Temperatures and humidity can change things. Temperatures, if we're hot, we might walk slower. If the humidity is high, maybe granules are sticking together. So all of these things play a role in determining the calibration of a rotary spreader. How do we calibrate rotary spreaders? Well, we have to figure out our swath width. That's the distribution from side to side of the product. And that's going to change with granule size. Some granules are heavier and some granules are lighter. Method one of calibrating a rotary spreader, catch pans spaced out in the center, 2 foot centers on either side. You can make multiple passes, record the weights that are caught in those catch pans. The center should have the most material. Locate the pans that have 50% of the weight as the center, and the distance between these distance between these pans would be considered the swath width. Method two is to use a paved area that can be cleaned up, identify the pattern, measure 2/3 the distance from the farthest material thrown, and again, you can test that on a 20-foot by 50-foot area with calculated weight for that area. You want to run this test multiple times to make sure you're accurate. Once calibrated per 1,000 square foot, you can multiply that by 43.56 and determine the amount per acre. And that concludes our brief chapter on chapter 4, which is all about calibration. It seemed like it was more tailored towards um, turf grass applications, which is pretty wild for an ornamental book. But nonetheless, I hope that provided value. You're more than likely going to be doing the spray calibration, which again, the easiest way to do that is to utilize a 5-gallon jug of water and to measure how much volume is coming out at what pressure and time it, right? Do that multiple times and you'll have a pretty consistent thing. The other thing would be determining how, if you're doing any sort of soil applications, how much material is being put in there per gallon and what is the rate that you need to apply it per diameter inch or by foot height. So that's the gist of that. So I hope this material is helping you. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me. This concludes chapter 4. So I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. God bless and go get them.